Oh, hey Guinos. Welcome to the back of a suburban Kroger supermarket where I will be rage baiting minimum wage workers and recording them when they get mad. Yes, I have a real job. Please leave me alone. Almost everyone has a high quality camera on them at all times these days, which on its own is pretty cool. I remember growing up in the early 2000s, it seemed like every family had a crusty digital camera or camcorder, but now even 4K video can be taken on a handheld device as a secondary feature. Because of this, a lot of things can be reliably documented and preserved for history, ensuring that authorities aren't able to twist narratives. We have definitive proof of how things go down, no matter how much the world's biggest losers want to tell you otherwise. Unfortunately, like with most things, people on the internet have contorted this ability and power into something terrible, mainly in regards to humiliating and embarrassing others for clout. Or themselves, but it really depends on who you're talking about. These people have built businesses off of instigating and then filming public meltdowns or shoving a camera in somebody's face to do a street interview. There's something to be said about the power dynamic that's established when someone begins recording you in public, which I will be saying due to this being a video where I can do and say whatever I want. See? I can do whatever I want. The public recording and photography of others, in my opinion, started with people recording themselves. Prank channels, for example, were extremely popular back in the day, and while yes, most of them were fake, to an impressionable young audience, they seemed very real. Additionally, social media encourages people to exaggerate, record, and post their daily lives for clout. This has manifested itself in a number of ways, but I think the best way to illustrate it is using family YouTube channels. Almost every aspect of their lives becomes content. They can't just live a normal life. They have to post it just in case it gets them money or fame, and that's how you get these bad family channels, like Daddy05 or the Ace family. Both of these are channels that were notorious for exploiting their children for content, whether that was trouble at school, trouble at home, meltdowns. If it could make a good title and thumbnail, they would post it. One of the most egregious examples ties into what I mentioned earlier. They would instigate one of the kids to pick on the other, and then they would film the aftermath. It's undeniably creepy when a parent decides to use their child for content, and I generally dislike the normalization of posting your kid online at all. But it gets likes when people see your cute baby or the new drawing that your kid made for you. And so, almost in a Pavlovian way, you're trained to continue to post them. This illustrates the big problem with the intersection of how social media feedback loops work and the fact that we all have cameras at all times. Obviously, they want to encourage everyone to post on their platform, but not everybody has the time or motivation to make something specifically as content to post. And so the question becomes, what do they post with the camera that they have on them at all times? Anything. Anything from their life that they're willing to show to the world. And as time goes on, that line gets blurrier and blurrier. It gets harder and harder to just live your life the further you get into that mindset. Everything you experience becomes something you want to record to either post or for preservation, rather than just being in the moment. I'm not a big fan of phone bad arguments in general, but this is one that I actually agree with, so I will be putting on the boomer hat. Being able to record anything at any time has allowed people to disconnect themselves from their life in a way that makes me really sad. Phones out at concerts, taking pictures at the movies. It's putting a barrier between yourself and the thing happening in front of you, what you could be experiencing. Alright, I'm gonna take the boomer hat off. The desire for viral fame or entertainment from the lives of real people has led to the commodification of us. Because of social media, having a camera means that you can't just live your life anymore. It must be turned into content in the hopes that it'll make you money or it could make you famous. This has led to the normalization of recording everything for content. For the past few years, that hasn't been confined to just yourself And your home, it includes everyone else. There's a few different archetypes of this, some of which are a little bit annoying, but mostly harmless, while others are disgustingly invasive. It's one of those things where it's actually a pretty nifty idea on paper to get a bunch of general opinions from the public just randomly on the street, but it's been pushed to its logical conclusion by people who are maximizing engagement online. Instead of asking questions to find the opinions of the general public, they'll instead ask questions to try and catch somebody who doesn't know something so they can post it online for their audience to make fun of. That's how you get clips of people like Haley Welch. They're meant to record people who are drunk or buzzed in public saying something salacious. I'm always saying something salacious. Bars. It just so happens that hers propelled her into greater fame than the interviewer. Again, this is mostly harmless if done with good intentions, and most of the time it's also with consent, so it's not a big deal. In my opinion, IRL streamers are also on the edge of being innocuous. What I mean by that is that it's not very harmful on the face of it to just be recording your entire day, but it is harmful and somewhat invasive to record others without their consent live. As long as they're not bothering anybody, I don't see how this is any different from like a vlog. I would say it's edging the line. And if we're talking about edging something, pickup artists are extremely harmful. I'm editing this video right now. That joke was not in the script. I don't know where I was fucking going with that. I don't know why I said that. They're a bit like street interviewers, but they've got a thing for humiliating themselves in public. They objectify women in a way where they make them seem like a game to be won, and they post their attempts online for entertainment. No longer are they other human beings, you just go up to a random woman and pick the right dialogue options and then she wants to sleep with you. It's those damn Persona fans, man. Can't trust any of them. These are all scenarios in which you would know that you're being recorded in public. These people have cameras or microphones and they're talking to themselves. I feel like it's pretty obvious. What I'm much more concerned with is how people have been treating others without their knowledge or consent. Everyone watching this video is extremely intelligent and good looking, so you've probably noticed the uptick of people being casually recorded without their knowledge. Not directly interacting with someone like I mentioned before, but instead pointing their phone at them slyly to get something to post online. They could be reading, working out, eating, chilling on the subway, doesn't matter. If what you're doing looks embarrassing or unusual or funny to somebody, there is a chance that they could snap a picture and post it online for people to see. It should be noted that in some cases, there is significant pushback when something like this happens. However, there are also assumptions made on people's character based off of random photos of them posted online without their consent. Because of this, it leads to a lot of people feeling like they can make judgments about someone based off of this one photo they saw online. Even people who would typically be against something like that participate in this. For example, performative males. I forgot to do the first part of the snap transition. I'm not gonna try and defend this archetype of guy. There are definitely men who fake being progressive in order to get with girls, but you cannot make a judgment of someone's character just based on how they look. If a photo was taken of me doing this, reading in public, as I'm known to do sometimes, there would be some people who judge me just based off of that photo as a performative male. But in this case, they would be right, considering the fact that I am performing for you right now, but that's not the point. It's too hot for me to continue doing this bit. I use this as an example because it illustrates the ease of diluting someone into a single moment, especially on the internet. It's easy to do so because this is likely the only time you'll ever see them in your life. An image of a comfortably dressed person reading the first page of a book in public. It comes down to dehumanization, seeing other people as NPCs. I think this probably evolved from the culture of paparazzi, celebrities being seen as entertainment only, or characters, and human beings second if at all. It's also recently gotten worse. Heated rivalry stars Hudson Williams and Connor Story were having their pictures taken in public without their consent. Internet culture has only amplified this because people are obsessed with characters and entertainment in an unhealthy way. no longer are these people, but they're exhibits. I better take out my camera and take a picture of them while I see them. In turn, people speculate about their relationship with their co-stars and each other as if they're the characters in the show. One actor, Francois, even received death threats for daring to have the audacity to be friends with one of his co-stars. This is how I feel people in the general public are going to be treated in the not so distant future if we continue down this path. They're not other people, they're entertainment. Every so often online, there will be a street interview or a recording that goes viral of people like Haley Welch, or people stealing baseballs from kids at baseball games, or adultery. On the baseball thing, why does this keep happening? It's a baseball and you're 40 years old. You could just go buy one. Did you know that? The kid doesn't have a job. He can't afford a baseball. Bum-ass kid. That also feeds into it, because it's essentially public humiliation. If someone is recorded doing something bad, it becomes morally correct in the eyes of the internet to relentlessly shame them for it and ruin their lives, because getting mad at things is fun. This has led to an eagerness to not only judge people off of a photo or a recording of them posted online, but a belief that doing so isn't wrong or reductive. To be clear, I'm not talking about those people that say that their statement was taken out of context. I'm saying for regular, normal-ass people. Of course, it's one thing when someone is being belligerently racist or stealing from an actual child, but it's another when you're just looking for targets to make fun of, like a guy reading in public that's dressed a little funny. What happened to minding your own damn business, not judging a book by its cover? You're assuming something about someone based off of nothing. You're making an ass of you and me. I'm the first person to ever think about that. More likes, more retweets, more money, etc. It's disgusting. Behavior like this leads to people feeling less comfortable in public. They don't want to look stupid and be posted online and become today's joke, and so they don't put themselves out there. It's heartbreaking because I really do feel that more people would be comfortable with being openly themselves in public if it wasn't a risk of mass online humiliation. Now, none of this is necessarily new. This is something that people have talked about for a while, but as of late, I feel like it's become more normalized and widespread. Have you noticed that some of these videos look extremely natural? Like the other person doesn't know that they're being recorded? This is because in some cases, they don't. Meta and other companies have manufactured glasses that have cameras built in, and it makes it extremely difficult for other people to know when they are being filmed. A lot of people have bought these for the express purpose of being a creep in public. Coming from somebody who wears glasses, they somehow engineered these things to look as dorky as possible. Like, look at these fucking glasses, man. SpongeBob going jellyfishing looking ass. When these were first being advertised, a lot of people immediately guessed what these were going to be used for, and they were right. Men approaching women in public without telling them that they're being recorded. The BBC actually did a story on these earlier this year. It focused on a few cases where women were approached in public and obviously did not think that the person in front of them was a creep that was going to be posting their interaction online for clout and money. And again, it's that power dynamic that comes with it. Knowing that you're recording someone and them not knowing that they're being recorded. This is how they get these manufactured interactions to post online, using real people as entertainment rather than the living beings that they are. In other words, it's that objectification that I mentioned earlier. I didn't just bring up pickup artists to make fun of them, mostly, but because I feel like it illustrates a larger issue of how we treat filming people in public. The comments on these videos were abhorrent, reportedly sexually explicit, and derogatory. And thankfully they have been deleted. These are just a few small cases of a larger issue that these things are not being regulated because they keep advancing too quickly. Slowly, every piece of technology has adopted a microphone, a camera, some internet connectivity, and so everything has become some device for recording. No person is off limits, no situation is too sensitive. life becomes waiting for the next moment to hit the record button on your pervert glasses. There are also extremely dubious features that are being added to these glasses and cameras. Why the hell does Meta need to add facial recognition technology into these things? Where is that data being sent for it to be processed? Are these guys just becoming walking surveillance drones that can't keep women alone? What's next? Are they going to try and sell this technology to us as something positive by endearing it to us with some superfluous feature that uses something we find good as a Trojan horse? Hi, I'm Frank Haircut. Did you know that over 1 million dogs go missing every year? That's 1.2 million to be exact. Over 3,000 dogs every day. That number is unacceptably high. But what if I told you that if you gave up your privacy and let me watch you forever, that I could find maybe one of those dogs every few days? Wait a minute. You don't want me to do that? Oh, guys, I think I seriously misread the room. The company Ring decided to advertise a new feature over the Super Bowl, and a lot of people have found it extremely concerning. That feature, which everyone who owns a Ring doorbell was automatically opted into, is called Search Party. It's an AI feature which uses your camera to detect and report missing dogs to their owners. If you think about it for more than half a second, you'll realize that they are using your camera without your express consent to detect and report something to someone else. And potentially, they could be surveilling your neighborhood for whatever they want. And would you look at that? They were about to partner with a surveillance company before everybody started freaking out on them. I hate to sound conspiratorial, but what else am I supposed to think about this? This is completely tangential, but the name Ring doorbells is very funny to me. Imagine if there was a brand called Vroom Cars or Slam Hammers. Actually, after saying it out loud, I like slam hammers. I would buy a slam hammer. I'm bringing this up because I wanted to illustrate how normalized and widespread cameras and surveillance has become in our society. As of 2023, 20% of American homes have a video doorbell, and that number continues to rise. Personally, I feel like this is probably one of the end goals of the normalization of cameras in every part of our lives. Think about it. It's a pretty even split when someone is posted online doing something embarrassing in public, or maybe wearing something alternative that could be perceived as weird. One side condemns the filmer or photographer for not minding their own business and posting a random person online. And the other side makes fun of that person for simply existing in public. There are a lot of arguments on the latter side that come from a culture of victim blame, like how they're dressed, how they look, what color their hair is, having the audacity to do something unusual in public. They act like it's justification for posting someone online when we know that this is something that could actively ruin someone's life. Instead of needing the Ring doorbells of the world to surveil everyone, a culture can be cultivated through online hate to shame anyone for being different or undesirable. I don't like the fact that people seemingly need to live in fear of the possibility of being filmed in public. And I'm especially sick of the people online who blame them when it happens. People have a right to privacy, which has been a huge issue as of late, for a lot of reasons. And I want to stress, the things that should be recorded should continue to be recorded. Like subjugation and authorities abusing their power, I 100% agree with anyone filming those actions. Accountability is one of the few things I can say has been elevated through this advancement in technology. However, through social media algorithms and the ever-expanding chase for success and fame, it has empowered the shittiest people in the world. For every iShow speed, you have traveling the world and respectfully and accurately displaying the cultures that he finds. You have 10 IRL kick streamers dedicated to instigating fights and freakouts. And yes, I know some of this stuff is faked for engagement, like rage bait, but even if most of it was, it's still teaching an audience of young people that this is how you get famous and that this is okay. These are people who want wealth and fame for humiliating others in public, who revel in the unbalanced power dynamic of shoving a camera in someone's face at their place of work, where one wrong move could get them fired. They have a safety net in being able to edit any interaction they're in, making themselves the epic unbothered chimp, and whoever they're interacting with, the ever-irritated lion. So next time you see an image or a video of someone posted on the internet, performative male or otherwise, think about whether or not you're making a moral judgment of someone's character based on a snippet of their life. Unless they're saying a slur, then yeah, it's probably okay. I mean, I joke, but recently we had a situation where a slur was said as a tick at an awards show, and a lot of people were confidently incorrect about how mental illnesses work. That's the comfortability that I'm talking about. You should think before you speak, and you should think before you act. You should have learned that in kindergarten. Anyways, Guinos, I've gotta go. Wait a minute. Is that a fucking camera? Have I been talking to a camera this entire time? And I'm gonna post it on the internet? Fuck, dude, I'm so fucked.
Keep stepping at your, keep stepping at your own pace, stepping.